What's up, everybody? I'm here today with Carter Maxwell, aka the High School Hustler. His name says it all. He has a YouTube channel called High School Hustler, which will be linked up in the description of this video. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell you guys a little about who he is and his backstory. So, hey Carter, how's it going?
Going good, Paul. It's going good.
Great. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are?
Awesome. So thanks for having me on. So much, Paul. It really does mean a lot. But just about a quick little introduction of who I am. So I'm currently a 17-year-old entrepreneur. Throughout the past 4 or 5 years, I've sold on multiple platforms. From eBay to Merch by Amazon, Amazon FBA, a little bit on Shopify, and I've had a lot of ups and downs, and I've shared that on my YouTube channel. And just recently, over the past year or two, I've really been able to scale my own Amazon FBA business to, 6 figures and beyond a year. So that's a pretty big accomplishment for me, especially being 17. And, I talk about it on my channel, and it's not there to brag, but it's there for me to, inspire other people that, that age, is just a number, that you can start a business with, zero experience, zero knowledge, whatever it is, you just learn it. And through trial and error, you're able to build something that, can potentially change your life. So, when it comes to my backstory, at the age of 12, I sold my first item on eBay, and then I sold on reselling just random stuff on eBay for about 2 years until about age 14, 14 and a half. And then I started getting into FBA. And originally I started reselling. And then after I built up a little bit more capital, I started to get into a model that's a bit more scalable, known as private label, which I'm sure we'll go over a little bit later on in this video. But that's kind of my backstory and my journey as a young entrepreneur.
So 12 years old is when you started selling online.
Yes.
Where did that inspiration and drive come from at 12? Because I think when I was 12, I was playing like Dungeons and Dragons with my friends in my parents' basement and wasn't even thinking at all about making money online. So, or making any money for that matter. So where did that come from?
Um, I mean, I was still, playing video games, hang out with friends, and I reached that stage where, I wanted some, higher priced items, and I wanted some more luxury type, electronics or, video games. And, my parents said, you're gonna have to save up your money. And, I actually surprisingly went to Google. I'm like, how can I make money as a kid? And, I looked up, the top 40 list, and it was like, you can babysit, you can walk dogs, do a lemonade stand. And then like number 40 was like eBay. It was like start an online business. And I was like, okay, I like that. And so, I took a risk, and I sold a coin that I was gifted from a relative. They still don't know I sold it, but the coin is worth like 25, $30. And for me, that was just like, wow, like I just made like $30 in a day from selling this item. And then I ended up stealing, my brother and sister's coins. And so I was able to build up, 75, $80, within the first day of selling these items. So it was just a huge inspiration. It was like, no, I like this, cash flow coming in, how can I make, $100? How can I make $1,000? And that kind of, started my entrepreneurship journey. And I was never really forced into it. Like my parents never made me, sell on eBay or sell on Amazon. It was just something that, I really enjoyed. And I enjoyed, the experience of being able to build something that can, really help me years down the road from now.
Why did you then move from selling these items that you were stealing from your siblings and from around the house to, a different business model? Where did you go from there, and why did you make that move?
The transition from eBay to Amazon FBA was a really big transition for me, because still being in high school for 8 hours a day, playing basketball and at the gym for an hour, hour and a half in the evening. My time was somewhat limited to run the business, and eventually, reselling on eBay, I was getting to the point where I was selling 20 to 25 items a day. And when it comes to eBay, you have to manually ship each of the items out. And for me, a one man show it was a bit difficult to be able to go through and have to pick, pack, and ship all those different items, different sizes, different locations, and it just took up a lot of time. And I've heard some stir on YouTube about this new program, FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, and I tried it out. And what happened was, I eventually reached the same, sales velocity as I had on eBay. If I sold 25 items that day on eBay and 25 on Amazon, Amazon using the FBA program, they would fulfill all those orders for me. So basically, I'd have all my inventory sent and stored at an Amazon warehouse. And then once it sells on Amazon, the fulfillment team picks, packs, and ships that product, 2 day shipping to my customer for me. So that day that I sold 25 items on Amazon, I didn't touch any one of those, provide any customer service at all. Amazon handled that. And when it came to eBay, I was just tired of having to go, spend all that time, having to process each of the items. So that was kind of the transition and, why I decided to move from eBay to Amazon
So
FBA.
it sounds like you started, I guess maybe you could say like down here and found something that worked,
Mhm.
but then found something that worked but solved all the problems you were having with the first one. But then you moved up again, didn't you? Didn't you start doing something else different with Amazon?
Yeah, so I'm actually switched my business models. I kind of switched my strategy. So I was using the same strategy I was using on eBay in my first business model, known as reselling. It's one of the best ways to start on Amazon, especially if you have limited capital and not much experience. So I was selling, books and video games and new or used electronics and just kind of finding random items at garage sales and book sales. And over time, I was wanting something that was a little bit, a little bit more scalable, something that I could, scale to, $10,000 a month and beyond. And I found this business model known as private label. And there wasn't, a lot of people were talking on YouTube about, Amazon FBA. And I mean, you look on Amazon FBA now, everyone's trying to, sell their own product. Everyone's talking about it now. But when I first started about a year and a half ago, there actually wasn't really anyone that had a course. So I didn't actually have a course to take, on how to private label. It was just, a YouTube video here, an article on Google here. And it was a lot of trial and error for me. So I lost, a lot of money. I mean, my first two products failed and I stuck with it and I, invested more in tools and I kept doing more research and I finally, found a strategy, a blueprint that I use and that I teach that was able for me to, keep finding and keep, being able to list and sell, products. And the thing about that business model that's different, private label is you're going and sourcing, one individual product to sell that product, multiple times throughout the day. So I know I like to follow my strategy, which is, the 10 by 10 by 1. So I like to find products that are going to, make 10 sales a day at around $10 profit for one day. So if I can find a product that's going to make me, $100 profit a day, even if that's, 20 sales a day at $5 profit, that $100 per day is that goal. Then I just want to keep adding, new products and new products. And that was just a great way to kind of, to scale from there. So instead of trying to find a product where, here's a $5 profit and, a $25 profit, I'm just consistently selling, the same item over and over for a $5 profit or a $10 profit.
How many items do you have private labeled now?
I have about at the moment 6, and before I go on my vacation in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm trying to add 2 more. So, and it kind of fluctuates. Like I had to drop one product not too long ago, and it just I have one seasonal product, so they're kind of all over the place when it comes to the products that I'm adding. But I'm really trying to add on at least, one every month or month and a half. But I've been putting a lot more time into YouTube and helping people in the course. So it's stayed stagnant about a product every month, I'd say, month and a
Cool.
half.
So you were mentioning before you made a lot of mistakes when you first started with private labeling. What kind of mistakes were those?
Man, so the first mistake was just I didn't have like someone to help me. I didn't have like a blueprint. Like I mentioned, I went through trial and error, which is a great way to, learn it if that's your only option. But one thing I didn't do is I didn't invest in a tool. Starting out with an online business, obviously you want to, invest like the least amount of funds because you want to obviously be profitable. And so I didn't really invest in any, high quality tools such as, Jungle Scout, which is what I currently use for product research. So my first two products, I just manually did research on Amazon. Now that's still profitable. You still can have success doing, manual research on Amazon. There are some different tactics, but the way I was doing it, the knowledge that I had at that moment, I didn't know if there was an opportunity in a market to sell that product. I was just looking at, the sales volume. And I mean, I'll tell you the first product I went after, an iPhone case. I went after a clear iPhone case for the new iPhone 8 that was coming out at that time, And, it was like, man, like this product's going to be the next big thing. All these sellers are doing, 30, 40K a month. But I just entered a market that's too competitive and end up losing some money on that product. But it was a great learning experience. So when it comes to mistakes, definitely just not having like the knowledge, not investing in the tools, definitely one of the bigger mistakes I made.
So I just heard you say that you lost some money on that first product. So what would you say to someone like, if I were to say to you, I'm afraid to start private labeling because I'm afraid my product's going to bomb and I'm going to lose money on it?
Well, first off, a great way to, eliminate the chance of, having a product that's going to be a bomb, you're going to lose money, is to just follow a blueprint, follow a strategy that someone else that has had success has you available to use. And that could be a course, that could be, mentorship, coaching, something like that, where if you run into a problem, you can ask someone of, a higher stage, help you along the way. But when it comes to, making sure your product isn't a flop. I mean, obviously there's no guarantees, but product research is the foundation of your business. It doesn't matter, how good your pictures are, how good your listing is, how well it's selling. If you don't pick a good product, if your product is not going to be a winning product, then it's just going to be extremely hard to be able to scale. Now, if you were to launch a product, I still believe that even if you're not profitable, you can break even. So there are a ton of different ways you can liquidate. And I've learned that, over the last year or so, especially with the first product, I didn't know exactly how to, sell a product, at a break even, at a loss. And there's ways you can liquidate. So when it comes to losing money, it's very, very rare. It usually happens if you pick a product that is just absolutely garbage, just horrible. So when it comes to, not making that mistake, product research is definitely the place to start.
So if people are interested more in doing this, where is like a good place they can go to learn some more information about this?
So not too long ago, I actually launched my own private label course where, I teach someone that has zero experience on Amazon FBA private labeling, where I teach them, step by step how to build, a successful private label business from, creating your account, what seller plan to choose, different product, product research strategies, contacting suppliers, how exactly you can order these products, how you can brand the product. So I go step by step. And one thing that sets me apart from all the other courses out there is, I provide assistance, I provide mentorship within my course. So if you do have any questions or concerns while you're running your business, and if you are enrolled in the course, you will have one-on-one access to me to ask me any questions or concerns regarding the business. So that's definitely important, because I definitely wish I had that, when I first started, because I was just going by trial and error. When I made a mistake or when I came to, a roadblock, I mean, there was really no one to give me any advice on, how to move forward or how to get past that. And I did lose a lot of money. So if you could have someone, I mean, myself or anyone that can, help you along the way, it does help save you a lot of money and time to really, quickly scale that business to whatever, amount, whatever product, sales that you desire.
Very cool. And you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, I do. The High School Hustler channel, which I might be moving to my personal name, Carter Maxwell, within a couple of months, just to kind of build, my personal brand a little bit more.
Well, whatever you change it to, that will be the first link in the description. I think even if you change the name, it's still going to go there. What do you talk about on that channel?
So it's mainly Amazon related content, but I've started adding some other, businesses ideas on there, such as, some eBay drop shipping, reselling on eBay, a little bit of Shopify. So it's mainly Amazon, because that's personally what I do for a full-time income right now. But also the channel's there to, kind of inspire and just teach people, as many ways as possible that they can make an income online.
Awesome. Yeah, so guys, I've subscribed to his channel. He has really great content. If you guys want to make sure you subscribe to it or check it out, that will be probably the first link. Actually, will be the first link in the description of this video if you want to see all his great videos. Check him out. He has a lot of free information out there about everything we've talked about things we haven't even had time to cover. And then you can hear more about his course, which I'm going to be taking a look at. Really excited to check out that course, because it sounds like it's really awesome. How long has that course been up now, Carter?
I'd say it's been up around 6 or 7 months at the moment, and it took me around, I'd say 2 to 3 months to make. I basically made it. I'd say December through, February, kind of around those 3 months. So I was able to go through, Q4, which was a really big quarter for me. I mean, for any online seller, I can imagine, eBay drop shipping for you. I mean, that quarter of the year is absolutely giant. So I was able to go through, have a big quarter like that and really understand, how exactly you can really just make as much money as you can, throughout that period of time when sales are just absolutely skyrocketing.
So we've talked a lot about private labeling now, what you're doing on Amazon. Do you suggest that business model for people who are brand new to e-commerce and haven't had experience selling on Amazon yet?
I'd say it's really up to whoever the person is. Private label is a business model that, takes a little bit more of an investment up front, but in the back end, there's going to be a lot less competition because obviously, not very many people have the funds to be able to invest. And it takes anywhere from, $800 to $1,100, if that's a smaller order to, start your private label business. But I mean, there's also, reselling, and that's kind of where I started, and that's where you can start if you don't want to really take that risk up front. And a great strategy that I recommend is, you know, start reselling, random items, books and video games and electronics, and learn the Amazon FBA business model. Learn how to use the platform. And once you've built up some more capital, once you have a little bit more confidence, then you can get to something a little bit more scalable like private label.
Cool. So without going like maybe too in depth about it, can you just walk someone through like maybe just the basic steps of how this retail arbitrage FBA kind of business would look like what you have to do to get it going?
So it's a pretty good platform in the sense that I already mentioned a little bit earlier. It's fulfilled by Amazon. So basically, you are sourcing different products. For instance, if you're using the reselling business model, you're sourcing books. You're buying them for $1, selling them for $15, $20, and you want to build up, a surplus of inventory. And then you're going to ship that inventory to the Amazon warehouse. And using this platform, Amazon will store your inventory in their warehouses for, a small monthly fee while your products are live and for sale on Amazon. Now, once your product is sold and purchased on Amazon, the fulfillment team by Amazon then picks, packs, and ships that product, 2-day shipping to your customer for you. So it's an extremely efficient business model in the sense that, for 8 hours a day, I'm at school and I'm still able to make money because Amazon is doing all the fulfillment. I'm solely there to make sure that my product is selling, that I'm advertising, I'm driving people to my listing, and that if I'm making sales at Amazon on the back end is going to be shipping and doing, kind of automating that back end shipping portion of my business.
Awesome. So you're finding these products at like thrift stores, or where are you getting them from?
Yeah, so when it comes to reselling, I mean, I'll probably have a guide in about 2 or 3 weeks that'll show you exactly where. So you can either find that on my channel or it might be in the description of this. But basically, you can go, garage sales, thrift stores, book sales. You can also, purchase items on eBay to then resell back on Amazon, AliExpress, Alibaba. I mean, there's 7 or 8, or there's so many different locations, websites, platforms that you can source products from to resell back on Amazon.
Well, Carter, thanks so much for sitting down with me and talking with me. Your story is really inspirational. I'm just blown away that you started this at 12 years old and you've created this huge business for yourself at 17. You have an amazing YouTube channel. So guys, you should definitely check out his YouTube channel. That's going to be the first link in the description underneath this video. And if you want to check out his course, that will be the second link in the description of the video if you can check it out. But check out his YouTube channel first, get to know him a little better. And I think you're gonna see that he's a very honest guy, very open guy, and he has some really great content out there that you guys are gonna wanna check out. You're not gonna miss it. So Carter, again, thanks so much. And I hope we can do another one of these in the future, maybe after you release your next guide so people can hear more about that. But thanks so much.
Yeah, man, sounds good. Thanks for having me.